SensorMATe2 is a new product which complements the Possum Telecare range of equipment. The unit is battery operated. To insert new batteries, remove the rubber shock protector. Then remove the battery compartment lid by sliding downwards. Insert two high quality alkaline or lithium AA batteries. Please observe the polarity that is indicated on the inside of the battery compartment. Refit the battery compartment lid and then refit the rubber shock protector. The unit features auto-low battery technology, which allows the raising of technical alarms to suitably programmed receivers. The battery life should last for a minimum of 1 year. On the front of the SensorMATe2, there is a high-quality membrane keypad. This allows you to alter the functionality of the SensorMATe2. It also allows you to mute alarms, has a high-quality LCD display, and allows you to power up the unit. To power up the unit, simply press the standby button for approximately 2 seconds. The unit will initially display the current firmware revision number and then will request that you set the date and time. To set the date and time, use the up, down and enter keys accordingly. The date and time functionality is used for the scheduling of certain alarms. It will automatically adjust for British summertime and British wintertime. The date and time setting can be skipped if this functionality is not required. Once you have finished, the home screen will be displayed. The home screen shows the status of the monitored inputs, the ambient temperature, and the current date and time. The state of the monitored inputs is displayed on the LCD using icons. These are as shown. To access the configuration menu, simply press the Enter key. At any time, pressing the standby key will take you back to the home screen. Password protection can be applied to the unit to stop accidental configuration changes. Simply press the Enter key, scroll down to the System Settings page, enter the System Settings page, and then select the settings pin that you desire. Entry of the settings pin is done by utilising the up and down arrows and the Enter key. Once you have saved the new settings pin, navigate back to the Home menu by pressing the Standby button. Once the password has been correctly entered, entry into any of the configuration menus can only be made by re-entering the password. Once you have correctly entered the password, access is granted once again to the configuration menus. If password protection is applied, it is recommended that all users or installers are made aware of the actual password that has been entered. With this in mind, it is probably advisable to leave it as either 1111 or 1234. In the event that a PIN protection code is forgotten, there is a default engineer's code. This is 1010. Entering this PIN allows full access to the configuration menus. This will allow any applied settings PIN to either be defaulted or a new settings PIN applied. The unit also incorporates inbuilt test technology. To access this, simply select the test mode page. This facility allows the installer to test the functionality of the SensorMATe and its connected peripheral devices. It can also be used by the installer to check the input pin configuration of any applied sensor or mat. The input state will be shown as normally open by a dash or normally closed by a C. This will be displayed against the relevant pins of the RJ9 connector that is inserted. Radio transmissions can also be tested from the test mode page. Use the up and down arrows to select the radio ID code you wish to transmit, then press the Enter key. The number will change to an antenna indicating the unit is transmitting. Once you have finished the test that you wish to conduct, simply press the standby button momentarily. This will take you back to the home page. Within the test mode page, there is also a useful keypad and LCD display test. To access this test facility, navigate to and enter the test mode page. Once in the test mode page, press the mute key. The initial test page allows you to test the membrane keypad. Press the buttons you require to be tested. These should be displayed as icons on the LCD. Once you have finished testing the buttons, you will be prompted to press mute again. This allows you to check the pixels of the LCD display. Toggle through by pressing the mute key, and then the unit will eventually watchdog reset. To configure the SensorMATe2 to be used in enuresis mode, connect an enuresis mat to the relevant input and enter the configure input setting page. Select the input to enuresis and then scroll to the enuresis sensitivity menu. This is defaulted to level 5, however can be adjusted between level 1 and level 9, with level 1 being the least sensitive to bedwetting conditions. It is recommended to leave this at level 5 to start with. The alarm type for the receiving unit can now be set. Scroll to the alarm type menu and select Standard and Any for Neo Care phones. If the receiver is an info pager, then the alarm type enuresis can be set. It is possible to make the SensorMATe2 repeat the alarms that are being transmitted. These can be selected in between 1 and 9 times and can also have a delay applied to them. The delay between these repeated transmissions can be set anywhere between 5 minutes and 45 minutes in 5 minutes incremental steps. There is also the possibility to upscale the alarm. The upscale alarm is transmitted after the standard number of alarm repeats that has been set has been exceeded. The upscale alarm can be used as a management tool to inform the management when an alarm event has not been dealt with in a timely fashion. All other settings within the configure input pages should be left at their default settings and then navigation made back to the home page. The alarm condition of the monitored input will be displayed on the LCD. When in alarm condition, it will display an alarm bell. Replacement action of the sensing mat will cause the SensorMATe to revert back to normal operating conditions. The alarm condition can also be muted by pressing the alarm mute key on the keypad. To release the SensorMATe from the mute condition, press the keypad mute button for a couple of seconds. To use the SensorMATe2 as a bed occupancy or chair occupancy solution, go to the test mode page. This will allow you to identify which specific pins of the RJ connector are being used. In this instance, the right-hand input connector is indicating that a sensing mat has been connected across pins 2 and 3. Go back to the home page, then use the Enter key to enter the settings menu. Scroll down to configure right-hand input and select the input accordingly. In this instance it was selected correctly, normally closed between pins 2 and 3. After you have selected the correct input type, use the down arrow to select the daytime dwell that is required. This is the amount of time that somebody is allowed to be absent from the bed or the chair without an alarm being raised. This can be configurable in 1 minute steps between 60 minutes and off. Save the daytime dwell setting that is required. Next setting applicable to bed occupancy solutions is the tremble function. This sets the amount of time that people can move about in bed and not raise an alarm. This is configurable in between 1 second and 10 seconds. Next, set the applicable alarm ID and the alarm type. For a Neo Care phone, this must be set to standard or any. You can also configure the SensorMATe2 to repeat the standard alarms that are being transmitted due to event activation. The time between the standard alarm repeats can also be configured. This is entered in the Alarm Repeat Delay section. It is also possible to send upscale alarms from the bed occupancy sensors. This will allow the initial alarms to go to a receiver such as an info pager, and if they're not answered correctly, the upscale alarms can then be transmitted to a Neo Care phone. These are similarly configurable for delay times as per the standard alarm types. You can also select the upscale IDs. It is also possible for the unit to have alternate settings during the night time. The options are for the unit to be off, that is, the input is not monitored during the night; as the day, which the input is monitored 24 hours and the daytime dwell is always used; night only, the input is not monitored at all during the day; or a night dwell, which is an alternate dwell time is used at night. If no alternate timings are to be used, ensure that day and night timing settings are set at 0. In nighttime off mode, the LCD will display a moon icon. If it is desired to have the same dwell settings and tremor settings during the night as well as during the day, simply go to the Mode at Night settings page, select the function to as day or off. This will cause the unit to go into the 24-hour monitoring mode. The same dwell setting that has been applied using the daytime dwell setting and tremor settings will also be applied during the night. Once the tremor and dwell time has been overcome, the unit will go into alarm mode. If the person now returns to bed, the unit will automatically reset the alarm mode, going back into monitoring mode. When the unit is in an alarm condition, the alarm mute key can be used to cessate any further transmissions. The icon will then be displayed as an alarm bell with a line through it, showing that the alarm has been muted. To resume monitoring, press the mute key again when the service user is back in bed.